Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the heathen, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law does he hideth sunrise and sundown. Him a go there like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in his season. Him leaf never a go wither, and whatsoever him doeth shall prosper. Yea! The heathen them now, they saw them there like a chaff, which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go turn for the judgment of the sin among them in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous and the way of the sinner among them. Always and always I go perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Jah! Kadama we groma be atela e exact beer tanayistalin abba shante 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 kadama we groma be atela e where 2 and 3 meet in the name of the Most High Jah and that's so Jaja there. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain. Same way if Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and them is saved. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High Jah shall therein abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I give thanks, oh Mauso Bolisa. I don't know what I was a sick player for. How Mauso Bolisa akpe kaka. How Mauso Bolisa. I don't know what I was a sick player for. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodemo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. Now in every traditional African home, there is a black pot. And each time this black pot sits on the fire, albeit uncomfortably, we see so many different ingredients of so many colors, sizes, shapes, aromas, and tastes. Get into the black pot and be subjected to some amount of heating. They produce one homogeneous product known as food. Now the food does not benefit the ingredients, neither does it benefit the black pot. It rather benefits us, the eaters. Same way, the black pot represents the continent of Africa. And of course, the ingredients in the black pot represent us as a people. All we need to do is to sacrifice, come together, put aside all our differences. Yes, we are of so many different shapes, sizes, and even colors. Put all these aside and work to be able to produce that homogeneous product known as development for our people, our continent, our land. When we do that, then we know that we are working positively towards the upliftment of our people, our continent, our land. Now, interestingly, we have planted maize, tomato, onion for far too long. One season crop. We plant that. In just about a few days, it grows. We harvest, we eat, we sleep, we die, and we are forgotten. We must start planting trees now. Many people will not plant trees because they know they will not live long enough to sit under the shadow of these trees. For that matter, it's not their business to work and not benefit from their work. My brother, my sister, if you see work like that you would work and it will not benefit you, does it hurt you? Does it matter if another generation comes to benefit from your work? Now the trees whose shade you enjoy right now were planted by people who worked so hard and never were able to benefit from these shades. They didn't live long enough before the trees grew to this point. How are you going to compare the two? My brother, my sister, this must be a tree planting generation. The Joshua generation. Things must change. In the black pot, we look at the mindset of our people. In the black pot, we try to change the mindset. Remember, Kwame Nkrumah said, now that we have our independence, it's time to change our attitude now. The attitude is all about the mindset. Some people don't think about the problems of Africa deeper than just the problems of schools, hospitals, and roads. But the biggest problem of Africa is the mindset. If our mindsets are righted, all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, oh gosh, individuals will build schools, roads, and hospitals, all in the name of a unique mindset, corrected mindset. My brother, my sister, this is the Blakk Pot, aka KUSI. And here, we don't criticize. If we must criticize, we would only just criticize for one condition, on one very good condition, to build and not to destroy. This is the pot, not just any pot, but the pot that is black, the Blakk Pot. And this is the man, not just any man, but the man that is black. My name, Blakk RASTA. And this is time to talk our country, our continent, our people, our land. Run the rhythm. Now, the very first story we're looking at today says, Reverend KUSI Boateng, not wrong. And this is coming from Paul ADOM-OTCHERE. Who is Paul ADOM-OTCHERE? Paul ADOM-OTCHERE is a veteran broadcaster. He deserves to be called a veteran broadcaster. I love him. I don't hide my love for him. Albeit is quite gullible, and sometimes he allows himself to be used by people, politicians. He himself is a politician, no two ways about that. He admires politics, he loves politics. My brother, my sister, that does not take anything away from the gentleman. He's been doing this for so long now. He's a man that I respect, Paul ADOM-OTCHERE. Now he's on a TV show known as Good Evening Ghana on Metro TV. And anytime there's something that has to be dealt with, especially political issues, you would find him in the melee. It's beautiful. Sometimes he analyzes them so nicely. Other times he gets into the thick of all the controversies and boom, he's able to weather down some things. Other times he just looks like a boy on errand. Now he's a sympathizer of the NPP. And what is the argument of Paul ADOM-OTCHERE? Come here! I pray you are wrong about Reverend KUSI Boateng ADOM-OTCHERE to Okujeto Ablakwa. Read it. Paul ADOM-OTCHERE, the board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, says he is praying to God to ensure that Reverend KUSI Boateng, the secretary of the board of trustees of the National Cathedral, is exonerated of the charges leveled against him by Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the member of parliament for North Tongue. The host of Good Evening Ghana on Metro TV says, much as he believes in the credibility of Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, he is hopeful that Reverend KUSI Boateng will be cleared of the allegations for which he has been hauled to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shrag. He commended Reverend KUSI Boateng for indicating his readiness to collaborate with Shrag and said that posture fills him with confidence that the embattled clergyman is innocent of the allegations. Interesting. Check that paragraph again. What does it say? He commended Reverend KUSI Boateng for indicating his readiness to collaborate with Shrag and said that posture fills him with confidence that the embattled clergyman is innocent of the allegations. Just the fact that somebody comes out and says that, oh, I'm ready to collaborate and cooperate with the investigations and investigators is enough to fill you with confidence that the person is innocent. Wow. This is a lawyer speaking. Hallelujah. The master has spoken. And who is the master? Paul ADOM-OTCHERE. He says that by just agreeing to collaborate and cooperate with Shrag, he believes that the man of God is innocent. Let's read on. The matter is before Shraj, and I am happy that in his response, Reverend KUSI Boateng welcomed the challenge that Okudzeto is sending him to Shraj. He tells all of us that he will be able to establish his innocence. I pray to God, and I sincerely hope Okudzeto is wrong on the matter, even though I take him seriously, he said. I am shocked. Why do you want Okudzeto Ablakwa to be wrong and not the man of God? That means you have confidence in one more than the other. True? Okudzeto Ablakwa on Tuesday, January 17, 2023, petitioned Shraj to investigate Reverend KUSI Boateng over the alleged payment of 2.6 million paid him by the National Cathedral Secretariat. Dash it away and bring the letter of Shraj. Shraj wrote back to Okudzeto Ablakwa and thanked Okudzeto for bringing the matter before it, and investigations would start. It acknowledged receipt of Okudzeto's issue. My brother, my sister, but this is interesting. It's interesting. Okudzeto Ablakwa has fired back at Paul ADOM-OTCHERE. What did he say? Watch this. Paul ADOM-OTCHERE of Metro TV's Good Evening Ghana compels me to reveal Reverend Victor KUSI Boateng, aka Kwabena Edu Jemfi's miraculous two biological mothers, Ya Jemfua and Agnes Atta, and you can see some documents attached, and he goes into it and looks at all these documents filled and presented by the man of God. He exposes two different women at two different times that the man of God claims to be his mothers. Wow, that's powerful, isn't it? And look at it. Okudzeto Ablakwa went on to say, and I read, come along with me. He says, as I revealed on Metro TV's Good Morning Ghana program a while ago, when Paul ADOM-OTCHERE claimed on his show last night that Reverend Victor KUSI Boateng, aka Kwabena Edu Jemfi, was advised to use his mother's name following the demise of his father. What Paul didn't want Ghanaians to discover is the fact that in addition to the double dates of birth and double things, Reverend KUSI Boateng also mystifyingly claims to have two biological mothers. On the 13th of August 2013, that's 10 years back, when he filled his taxpayer registration form at the GRA under the name Victor KUSI Boateng with a date of birth of September 7, 1971, he declared that his mother's maiden last name is Atta and her first name is Agnes. He was subsequently given a taxpayer identification number for his Victor KUSI Boateng name as POOOOO blah 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 to the end. Curiously, on the 24th of March 2016, 3 years later, he returned to the GRA, this time with the name Kwabena Edu Jemfi and a date of birth of December 30, 1969. He strangely declared a different biological mother with a maiden last name of Jemfua and a first name of Ya. This is how he secured another TIN, POO6 blah 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 to the end. Ablakwa chapter 2 verse 2. Interestingly, he declared on the forms that he is not a registered taxpayer, even though he was and already had a TIN. Therefore, from unimpeachable office records, Reverend Victor KUSI Boateng miraculously has two biological mothers, Ya Jemfua and Agnes Atta. Interestingly, he has made no attempt over the years to correct or amend the records. On the contrary, he appears to be brief benefiting from his grand, well-orchestrated conspiracy as he proceeds to engage in numerous business transactions with both names. In recent times, he has used both identities to register new companies. A few specific examples. On the 20th of May 2021, he incorporated the Dunamis Chapel Worldwide, LBG, under Victor KUSI Boateng. He also incorporated On Point One Laundry Limited on 26 March 2019 under Victor KUSI Boateng. Caris Consortium Limited was incorporated on the 11th of May 2017, also under Victor KUSI Boateng, not forgetting Duna Media Production. Duna Media Production, which he also owns under Victor KUSI Boateng. Around the same period, he incorporated the notorious JNS Talent Center Limited, the 4Bs Company Limited, and Anibis Petroleum Limited, Great Speed Engineering and Construction Limited, Lois General Risks Limited, New Wave FM Limited, and Dunamis Insurance Brokers Limited, all under his Kobna Edu Jemfi name. It is this same scheme that allows him to be appointed onto the National Cathedral Board of Trustees as Reverend Victor KUSI Boateng, which was incorporated on the 18th of July 2019, and yet he be granted a diplomatic passport with passport number DX 006845 under the name Kobna Edu Jemfi. A passport issued on 25th November 2021, which expires on 24th November 2026. Clearly, both names are exceedingly active and very much so within the same period. A very conscious and sophisticated machination to maintain a dual personality in ways that may just rival the biblical doctrine of Trinity. I shall return with more. For God and country, Ghana first. Hallelujah. Dash it away. This guy is a dirty criminal. Dirty, bald-headed criminal. He's a charlatan on the pulpit. Look at the amazing work Blakk has done. By now, Anas is shivering like a frog on heat. By now, Anas is shaking black. This is the man you are following to take you to heaven. My brother, I have no respect for any man who is crooked. I have no respect. It doesn't matter if you are a bald-headed prophet or afro-headed, hydra-headed chimpanzee. It doesn't matter whether you are the president. Ghana first. Hi! All my bravery comes from the fact that I am ready to go hungry to see this country grow. All my bravery comes from the fact that I have tried to live right all this while. When I am wrong, I apologize and I don't hide it. This is a common criminal. And he will still lay his criminal hands on people and tell them God says this. It's a charlatan on the pulpit. And people like ADOM-OTCHERE, stomach politicians, dirty-minded hypocrites will defend these charlatans. Look at the amazing evidence rolled out. Both names are very active. Both of them are registering companies. Giddy. And this charlatan still has a Ghanaian passport, which is a diplomatic passport. He will sit at home and order the embassy to stamp his passport and let him fly out. And by the diplomatic passport, he has VIP treatment in the name of Ghana that he's robbing and stealing from with dual identities. Hey, don't have any respect for any such people. I'm telling you. If you do, you are a fool. If you do, Galamsey will continue. If you do, my brother, my sister, we will continue running to the white man night and day, begging to clean his toilet so we can eat. If you continue, Black Stars players will all run to America, and in the cold, looking so haggardly, they will still thank God that they are not in Ghana, or else they would have died. Think about it, brethren. All these problems we are going through is because of people, stomach politicians like ADOM-OTCHERE, charlatans on the pulpit like Reverend KUSI BOATENG, and his idiotic boys who are following him and pushing this dirty agenda. As for the president, he's suffering from dyslexia. In fact, maybe he has a mental problem. When people grow old, they sometimes drift into some mental states. I don't want to go too much into it. That's probably where the president is. He sees the problem of Ghana to be totally solved by the building of a cathedral. It doesn't matter how hard you work. The country will never rise. He said the problem is divine, spiritual. You have to build a cathedral before things happen. My brother, my sister, what kind of a mentality is this? It's because of people like Reverend KUSI BOATENG that some of us right from the beginning did not want to be Christian. Because they are not ready to be straight. People like Obinim will bleach their faces and look like the devil, Lucifer himself. Sleeping with people's wives and little children in the church, as alleged by Kennedy Japan, and be involved in dangerous abortions. They are those who claim that they hear the voice of God and can lay hands on you and you will resurrect when you are dead. My brother, where are we going? Charlatans on the pulpit all over the place. Dirty malams all over the place, parading themselves on TV. Malam Boka all over the place. Telling you that your pocket no go dry. All you need is the skin of a certain snake. Bring it to him. And then he will add something, bring money and go. Anytime you need money, just call it and say, Kai Bansiri. And then there will be money in it. What the heck is happening? Betting centers all over the place. And we are busily advertising those. Turning the children into gamblers. A little child now is able to make money from betting. And he looks down on his father because the father was not able to provide breakfast in the morning. Now he can provide 10 breakfasts. The father could not even provide break slow in the morning, let alone breakfast the following day. Hey, come, let's think. Oh. As for ADOM-OTCHERE, hey. I mean, these are the people. When their party goes into opposition, they can't come out. They will go into hiding. They don't know where to hide themselves. And it's sad. Democracy is sweet. But my brother, my sister, let's think beyond partisanship. Let's look at Ghana first. If you have been raised by the God that you believe in to a point where you can become an opinion leader, please use it well. Don't use it for dirty propaganda for your personal gains. Or else, posterity is coming after you like an albatross. Posterity is coming after you. Your cup will be full. You will use your own teeth to cut your throat. Look at Reverend KUSI BOATENG. With all the respect he has in Zimbabwe and some other places. All the designer shirts and all the beautiful smiles. Today, you are a common criminal with 2 identities. 2 different mothers. 2 different dates of birth. How are you going to explain that? That the Holy Spirit descended on you and then he gave you what? I believe Shiraj will do a good job. And we will get to expose some of these charlatans. If I were you, I will go for baptism again. Repent and move on. To God be the glory. Come here! Next thing. AKUFO sacking Alan's boys. ADDO's men are busily parading themselves as the Almighty. You listen to them on radio. They are so defenseless. When the lie becomes so much, nobody can be a communicator for you anymore. They have told all the lies. Right now, they are short of lies. We all heard about Alan Chermatin. Alan Chermatin is that tall, giantly man. The direct opposite of the dwarfish Nana AKUFO. He wants to be president. And if you listen to him talk, he's directly telling you that he's coming out of a dirty government and he wants to be a clean governor. One, he wants to cut down on the number of appointees. But his boss, better still his former boss, is the king of appointees. He's employed people all over the place. Goro boys, he brought them around him. Whilst he's busily sleeping, they are able to cut their pound of flesh and take that away. At the blind side of this president, sleeping president, an American rapper came and shot a whole music video in the president's official office. He didn't know. He probably had smoked so much bonto, he was sleeping. And when his daughter was asked, shamelessly she said, my father's performance is stellar. Stellar. These are all bonto smokers who smoke too much bonto and sleep their heads off. And I speak for Ghana. My brother, Alan Chermatin knows that he's not a favorite of Nana AKUFO. Alan Chermatin knows that Bawumia is the little boy of Nana AKUFO. When Ghanaian presidents are about to leave office, they have their favorites. They are human beings. Nana AKUFO seemingly likes Bawumia, the non-card-bearing NPP member who became the vice president from nowhere, because he spoke some economics that only Nana AKUFO understood. He bamboozled all of us, cacophonized us, and he became vice president for 2 terms. Today, he also wants to be president. What a joke country. These guys all came together, ruined this country. These urchins and vultures, after killing all of us, are now descending on our carcasses. I'm speaking tongue in cheek. Bawumia wants to be president. I have told you, if Bawumia ever becomes president of this country, right after Nana AKUFO, I'll leave the country for you. Wallahi, I would have told myself that, Blakk Rasta, you've done enough. I'll leave you. Keep your country. Because you are not ready to think as human beings. Because you are fools who are not ready to sit down and feel pain and say, hey, I've been pained. Once beaten, twice shy. The average Ghanaian wants to be beaten 1 trillion times before he gets shy. I wouldn't be part of that. Wallahi. Alan Chermatin is now complaining that because he is going to run against Nana AKUFO-Addo's boy, all of a sudden, he has started sacking his boys who are loyal to him and are in government. Of course, we all heard about that guy. You remember Sewa Bruni? The guy who was holding the hand of Sewa Bruni and running around the president with Sewa Bruni. How many of us do not remember Sewa Bruni? We do, don't we? Hopeless Adoye. My brother, my sister. That's him. He was the one who was holding the hand of Sewa Bruni and running in circles. Yo, 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 ya, yo, 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 ya, yo. Bogum mamwane ka kolenya, yo, ya, yo. And when everything became so rotten, little did they know that she had videotaped and taken photos of very, very key and sensitive things and disgraced the president Poto. president sacked him a few days ago. According to him, it's all because he's an Alan boy. And the president wants everybody to support who? Bawumia. Do I have evidence? Run it! Alan supporters are losing their jobs. Former MPP General Secretary alleges he's a former MPP General Secretary, for crying out loud. Read it. Nana Ohininto, a former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, has called out the party for its handling of issues surrounding the election of its flag bearer for the 2024 presidential elections. Read on. Speaking in an interview, hey, come here. Come. Speaking in an interview on ADOM TV, which was monitored by Ghana REV, Ohini Into alleged that persons who are declaring their support for one of the NPP flag bearer hopefuls, Alan Tremantin, are being punished, with some losing their jobs. He added that, on the other hand, no action is being taken against NPP and government officials who are declaring their support for Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia for similar reasons. The party deliberately brushes aside issues when they are caused by one side of the party, but for the other side of the party, you see some of the leaders of the party, MPs and ministers, declaring their support of Dr. Bawumia. And Chibo Siakon is in Kumasi saying Bawumia must win. And who is Chibo Siakon? He is the man, the king of Galamsey, as Ghanaians call him. Remember recently, the president came out boldly and said his company is not involved in Galamsey. Chairman, to me. That's Enchibo Siakon. Enchibo Siakon is in Kumasi saying Bawumia must win. BMW. Hallelujah. Chairman Samba is in Tamale saying he has declared Bawumia as the winner. Enchibo Siakon is the one going to organize the primaries in Ashanti region. And he's saying Bawumia must win, which means he will do all he can to make Bawumia win. What kind of a dirty party is this? The man who is going to organize the elections, the primaries, is already declaring one of the candidates winner. And this is a party. Do they respect Ghanaians at all? These are urchins and vultures. Hey, dash it away. When I return, I talk some more. Hey! Wayo!
Blackpot, Kokusho.
This is the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonamo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. Did you see that quote from Sylvester Stallone? Rambo. Brrr. Take it to the Flagstaff house. Make it a huge inscription and put it there in front of the president's office. Coming with the next one. What does it say? Reverend KUSI Boateng, only a good Samaritan. Reverend Joyce ARYEE. According to Reverend Joyce ARYEE, Reverend KUSI BOATENG is not a criminal. He's nowhere near it. He's only a good Samaritan. Hallelujah. Come here. Why is she saying this? You remember the 2.6 million Ghana cedis paid to his company known as JNS Talent, whatever. You remember that? She's explaining to us why they paid that money to him. Run it. Reverend Joyce ARYEE defends payment of 2.6 million Ghana cedis to Reverend KUSI BOATENG's firm. Read it. A member of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral Project, Reverend Dr. Joyce ARYEE, has defended the controversial 2.6 million Ghana cedi payment made to JNS Talent Center Limited, a firm allegedly owned by Reverend Victor KUSI BOATENG, who is the secretary of the Board of Trustees. According to the founder and leader of Salt and Light Ministries, the secretariat was in urgent need of the aforementioned amount to settle a contractor, but did not have the funds. So Reverend KUSI BOATENG offered to pay the said amount and was later refunded too without any interest. That was the instance we had. That was the instance we had to pay a contractor, and we needed 2.6 million Ghana cedis to add to what we had. We knew we could get the money, but due to urgency, we couldn't wait. So one of us decided he could provide the funds, so we repaid him when we received the funds. No interest was requested, she said, on Adom FM's bedroom show, monitored by Ghana Web. Dash it away. Reverend, we hear you. He was able to dole out 2.6 million Ghana cedis in the name of the cathedral and gave it out. And then you paid him back after you got the money. What work was done? What work was done? Can you specify? The contractor that you gave the money to, what work did he provide? I'm just asking. Bishop Dag Mills resigned because he said monies were paid and there was no evidence of work. Is this one of them? When we return, we'll talk some more. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk KUSI BOATENG.
This is the Blakk Pot, aka KUSI, where we speak truth to power. Next thing is rolling on your screen. Remember to take our numbers from off the screen and do business with us. We love to do business with you. This is the Blakk Pot, aka KUSI, monopoly of SONGOR, or forget it. Come here. This is what McDAN is saying. This is McDAN. We have spoken about McDAN and the SONGOR Lagoon project over and over. I promised I was going to get into this. We sent a number of messages and even calls to McDAN to give us his side of the story. But all the calls went unanswered. We wanted to believe that he was busy. So we were able to talk to people around him, to talk to him, so we could have at least 10 minutes of his time to get his reaction. But all these went and fell heavily on deaf ears. So we went ahead to deal with the one side of the story, hoping that with time, McDAN will make time and speak with us. He did. We had time with McDAN. I met McDAN after an invitation was sent to me, and we spoke nicely. In fact, we spoke for over 2.5 hours in his home. I went in with my crew to be able to videotape the whole thing. But he said he was not ready for the cameras yet. We did not ask him if we could record him, at least audio. But for the fact that he said he did not want to be documented, we did not record anything. It's principle. We don't hide cameras on us, and we don't try to record things and know. So we spoke to him. McDAN says, if he doesn't get the monopoly of the SONGOR Lagoon for his salt project, he doesn't want it. And he gave reasons. We put before him some of the allegations against him, and he attempted answering some of them. So this is the version of McDAN. Look at demonstrators. SONGOR is for all of us. People demonstrating that they do not want McDAN there. Is McDAN legally on the salt concession? Yes, he is. McDAN was able to go to the chiefs, and this is the paramount chief of ADDO. McDAN, according to him, this was the last person he contacted, even though it's been disputed. McDAN told us that, in fact, he went out looking for salt to buy. He was not interested in any salt concession initially. He went to Keta. He didn't find enough. He went to Winneba. He couldn't find enough. And then somebody directed him to ADDO. And when he got there, he saw enough salt. He went to a certain company. We are going to keep the names of some of these companies down for the time being. And he realized that the whole place had been taken over by Syrians, Lebanese, and foreigners. And when he asked them what the raw material was in that company, all they told him was salt. So it whipped up his interest in the salt business. He went to ADDO, spoke to a few people. Some of the few people he spoke with discouraged him. Somebody like Nana Koleki. Nana Koleki said, hey, and she's a queen in that area. She said, if you attempt it, you will be killed. You will die like a rat. Because the salt there, nobody can ever monopolize it. Our gods do not agree to that. And Nene Kole, the founder of that clan, warned that that lagoon should never ever be monopolized. So forget it. But McDAN said some of the people got greedy. They came to him demanding money. He bought cars for some of them and gave some of them a lot of hefty gifts, including some people in authority as gifts to facilitate things for him. But they got greedy. Everybody wanted something. Everybody made demands, including Nana Koleki and her daughter in England. They wanted to be the main people who will provide catering services at the lagoon, monopolizing it. McDAN also went ahead to say, if he doesn't get monopoly of the whole lagoon, he doesn't want the concession. The government gave it to him. The chiefs endorsed it. So the whole stretch of the SONGOR Lagoon is in the hands of one man. It's never been like that. There was a time we had concessions on the lagoon. How many of them? 3. A painting was there. There was also Star Chemicals, whatever, and much more. But they had confusion. McDAN asked me if I knew why. I said, tell me. He said, because there was no monopoly. It came out that one man had to spend money, millions of dollars, to pump the water into the lagoon for salt to crystallize. To McDAN, he's only there because of the call by the chiefs and people of ADDO to come and invest. But the people of ADDO are also saying, no, we wanted you to come and invest, not to monopolize the lagoon. McDAN also says, if I do not monopolize it, I will never make money. Because I am going to spend money pumping water from the sea into the lagoon. It cost me millions of dollars. He mentioned the figure. I'm keeping it down for now. And when I pump the water in there, then we have people who will jump into the lagoon because I have no monopoly, and then they will cause a lot of silt to come into the lagoon. You know what silt is? Debris. As they are going in there, mining the salt, or better still, harvesting the salt. You know, it's a natural salt production area. Hey, you don't need machines. They cause silt to come up in the lagoon. And when it comes out, it raises the water level, and the salt cannot crystallize. He would have to spend money again to desilt, and he said that also costs millions of Ghana cedis. So if he has to benefit, he has to take over the whole lagoon, pump the water from the sea into the lagoon, not allow people to jump into the lagoon and harvest anyhow, but he would limit them to portions where they can go and harvest without causing silting in the lagoon. Do you get it? So we are going to pump water from the sea. We'll spend all the millions to do that. And when the water comes in and the salt starts to crystallize, we will make pans for each community. The pans are just, areas that you demarcate and say, okay, you can go here and harvest salt, but you can't go into the lagoon. McDAN doesn't want it. The people too said, the pans that you are creating, they do not crystallize. McDAN said that when he gave them the chance to get into the lagoon this month, from December into January, they have harvested a lot of salt, even in the pans. They have made money close to 100,000 Ghana cedis in just one community. And the chief ran away with the money. We are keeping that information down. We are not mentioning the name of the chief. So it's a series. It will unroll. If the pans are not crystallizing, how did the people in the area find salt in the pans to the tune of almost 100,000 Ghana cedis? And the chief ran away with the money. And the people are angry. So McDAN says, the war will not end now because he wants his monopoly so he can make money. If he doesn't get the monopoly, then he doesn't want the concession. Because people would enter and cause the place to silt up again. He would have to spend money and desilt and also spend millions of dollars to pump in the water. He said painting and Star Chemicals and the rest who could not agree was all because of this. Everybody's waiting for one man to spend money to pump in the water. And they jump into the lagoon, make their money off one man's sweat. He said he would not do that because he's a businessman. His social responsibilities. He says he's built an AstroTurf. He's not finished. He said it's going to be so huge. And according to McDAN, some other politicians went to try and do this salt, but they couldn't succeed because of some of these issues. He mentioned people like Ibrahim Mahama. Even he said when he got the opportunity to go there, he was congratulated by some people. As to whether he's been brutalizing the people, he said the people in ADDO are those attacking the police, and the police would have to fight back. Again, he said some of the pictures shown with people bleeding, some of the people were his own people who were beaten up by the people of ADDO. he gave us some other sensitive information which we'll keep down for now. How he's showing them a human face, and that the brutality is going on there. In fact, they would have been more brutal, but for something that he ordered the police not to do. We will keep this other information down for now. So my brother, my sister, it's clear. McDAN says that if he doesn't get monopoly, forget it. And that in less than a year, he's going to be able to hit 1 million tons of salt. And when he hits that, the economy of Ghana would change. And that when he hits that, the whole world would hear about ADOM SONGOR and hear about him. As to whether the people will sit down without working and see him gather all the 1 million tons, I don't know. Now the chiefs who took money from McDAN, you are greedy, you are wicked, you don't think about your people. If I mention Libiwanu, the priest of the SONGOR, and that the priest was angry that he did not append his signature to give him the sword, because he was the priest. That's what he said. And because they didn't give him the chance to do that, he got angry. But he was supposed to meet McDAN. According to McDAN, he came to his house. They were supposed to sign it, but some other things came. But according to McDAN, Libiwanu has sold part of the lagoon for salt production to some other people, and is making money out of it, and he's building a story building. So he says the people are not united. They are greedy. This one comes here bickering. In fact, he mentions some other really sensitive things. We will keep all of them down for now. Some of them are very sensitive. People think Blakk Rasta just talks. But no, we have common sense. Information that can bring a whole confusion and error, will bring it down. That's not our aim. We want to see the people unite. We are going to continue with this story. In the interim, it's so clear. McDAN says he would harvest 1 million tons of salt. That's when he will say he has succeeded. But before then, he's going to monopolize the whole area. After all, the government gave it to him. It's been ratified right there at the parliament. And therefore, he's not doing anything wrong. But the people of ADDO, the documentary will come out, have poured libation, cursing him. They are ready to let the ancestors kill McDAN. Some of them even told me that they had gone to see their gods, and their god said McDAN would die if he doesn't leave the place. Will McDAN die or not? Or will he run away and leave the salt? He says he's going to monopolize it, and he will make sure that he makes 1 million tons of salt to make all the difference. Do you know what I think? Dialogue. And I can lead that dialogue. McDAN on one side, ADDO on one side. Let's sit down. I don't eat salt. I don't need it. But when there is peace and harmony, everything will be nice. And development can spring. It's a matter of dialogue and understanding. Dialogue. This has been the Blakk Pot, aka AKUFO show, and we will end it here. We've run out of time. My name is Blakk Rasta, and I want to appreciate you and love you. Oh gosh, when we return, we will talk some more in the next edition. Hey! Wayo!